Me, you need glasses. Manager, you need counseling, by Userabilistmage. This is another tale from my loud-mouthed coworker who does a lot of embellishing of stories, so take the facts of this yarn with a grain of salt, or relevant salt alternative, but I found enough entertainment from said embellishments, and how suitable it was to my writing style, that I feel it warranted posting. This one involves a quaint hardware store manager so overdrawn from his Give a Flip account that he snapped on a lady, which I feel was reasonable. I posted another one of his some years ago, the antagonist named Inspector Effing Gadget, IFG, so we'll name this lady, Nancy Effing Drew, NFD. His narrative proceeds. I was visiting some relatives I didn't know well, way out of town during the holidays. The senior age lady of the household couldn't get her senior age husband to make progress on touch-up painting some wooden furniture something, and seeing my opportunity for, a, more personal space, b, escape from nearly the same decor as the house from Men in Black's Sugar Water Lady, and, c, a chance to see the sights of this backcountry Iowa town aside from such excitements as the weird hay bale, I volunteered to help out. The hang-up was that it needed a specific hue of paint, and he hated dealing with the incompetent paint mixing kid at the lone mom-and-pop hardware store. I wasn't the only out-of-towner that day, as the hardware store was lightly swarmed with others of us, including NFD. Not only did I get to introduce her to my brand of sass, it appeared that the manager of said shop also supplied his own hometown snark. I was so eager to exfiltrate the kitsch of their house, that I didn't even bother to emerge from the comfy cocoon of my bedding clothes. I soon found myself next in line, bedecked in the finest of Thomas the Tank Engine PJ bottoms, backwards ball cap with anime patches all over it, and a ramen noodle-themed hoodie. It would be nigh impossible to mistake me for a worker, but did that stop NFD? My dear reader, it did not. I was next in line at the paint counter, with a fleck of the furniture that fast needed fixing, and was about to speak to Incompetence Jr., when NFD spoke first, handing me a paint swatch. NFD, I need 2 cups of this color. Make it snappy. I don't have all day. Me, that's not all you need. NFD, oh yeah, smart guy. What else do I need? Some Upsell bowls? Look, I don't have time to deal wi. Me, interrupting, you need some glasses. I don't think they sell those here. Besides, I don't think paint comes in cups anyway. NFD, oh, it's me that needs glasses? Look at what you're wearing. How could you come to work like that? I'm getting your manager. How indeed, could I come to work, adorned in disheveled college dorm chic? How indeed was it, that my attire might instead rather better indicate that I am not employed here? Such clues as to this mystery evade the burden of the thought process of the wild NFD. After some brief banter with Junior Paintsmith about how weird that was, I was in the process of handing over the fleck when NFD comes clopping her cloven hooves with a manager in tow. He bore the expression that he'd reached the limits on his Keep It Together account and was in danger of overdraft. This was no bright-eyed young manager in upscale grocery, eager to please. No, this was a long-time part owner of a small-town hardware shop in Whistle-and-Spit, Iowa, in his overalls with pencil behind the ear, who I snicker in imagining likely set down his banjo and took out the wheat stalk he was chewing, to deal with someone who never had his business to begin with, as she was now well into the 4th bullet point about the audacity of his staffing choices. Manager, managing to get a word in, pointing to me, you're talking about this guy? NFD, do you see anyone else here in children's pajama pants? Manager, the person behind the counter is the employee, ma'am. This is very obviously a customer. You do not need paint. You need counseling. Time froze for a moment, before NFD opened her mouth again to catch the mic before it hit the floor. NFD, jabbing a long manicured fingernail into his chest, your job is gone, bucko. I am calling corporate and they are going to come down hard on you for this. Harder than you ever dreamed possible. Manager, we don't have a corporate. We got a cash register from 1986. The bell above the door you jingled when you pranced your way in, is older than your grandfather. Kindly remove your 99-cent Lee press-on nails from my chest and vacate, or Sheriff Buford Tannen, real name lost to time, will take a special delight in finding out whether your expired plates have warrants, in only the longest way he can muster, making you as late as humanly possible to whatever barn animal cuddle party you need to get to so quickly. Got it? I had the feeling that little speech had been rehearsed, as it came off the tongue a little too fluidly. Maybe they were the lyrics of whatever bluegrass breakdown he had been composing when she walked up and thus so readily came to mind. It was good, regardless. NFD, to her credit, knew defeat, but did a teeth-gritted erg noise except from what sounded like an auctioneer's bullhorn, as she clopped her way back out, swiping her hand across some boxed Earl model cars, and ringing said bell again, to find said sheriff already running said plates, and seeing her hand swipe as he looked up. Manager, sorry about that, sir. Looking down at the fleck I was still in mid-handoff to the paint brat. I see your resemblance to Mr. Surname of my relative, and I gather he still hasn't painted his wife's furniture? I nodded. Manager, I actually ran the color codes myself after the second mismatch, and have the best match we can make waiting for him, on the house, should he ever make a third visit about it. I'll go grab it. The noise of the once busy small hardware shop gradually resumed normal volume, and upon his return from the back, I thanked him for the show and the paint, and a story to relate about how I got it. I can't help but wonder how many times that encounter was repeated over the years, by others within earshot, and to what degree of instant small-town celebrity those who were there suddenly possessed. As I emerged from that fine establishment, NFD was cross-armed and fuming. There were multiple little slips of paper the sheriff had written already, and he was giving her eyebrow-raised inquisitive look that suggested, please, make additional comments. I gave her a little wink and sallied forth into brighter pastures. The paint did match. Ren Fair Fun, by user Library of Confusions. Went to the Ren Fair this past weekend. My second time at this year's fair and my 20th-ish year of attending. I had on a standard peasant dress with cape. No makeup up. No headwear. Didn't go all out like years past. The difference between what I was wearing and what employees and shop owners was staggering. Employees mostly wore street clothes. Shop owners had the all-decked-out costumes. This is the first year where people thought I was working as an employee or shop owner/employee. So many people. It was Halloween theme weekend with free trick-or-treating. Each candy area was clearly marked, and had employees of that stand/building standing next to the candy interacting with everyone. And it wasn't shoulder to shoulder crowded. The amount of people trying hand me their toddlers and babies. As if any employee can just babysit. They were treating me like I was Belle at Disney World, but a Belle that could watch their kids and give them candy while they went to the bars or the bathrooms. When they were met with confused face from me while interrupting me talking to a friend or my niece and nephew, or while I was watching a performance, they finally realized I was not an employee. Grumbled apologies and looked around like deer in headlights. It was weird because so many of the parents and kids had better costumes going on than I did. Like, I could have walked off with probably 5 or more babies/toddlers being handed off by parents or guardians that then tried to walk away and leave them. But in the shops older white women really had it out for me. They kept getting grumpy when I wouldn't help them with their corsets or shopping for dresses. I just ignored them until they finally came to and also mumbled, "Oh, I guess she doesn't work here." I was just helping my friend who hadn't been to the fair before try on and shop for stuff. Apparently that meant I should help everyone. One lady even said to her friend or sister or whatever how I wouldn't stop talking to my friend to help real customers. I just smiled really big and said loudly to my friend, "Wow, despite my lowest efforts ever I keep being mistaken for an employee. If the newbies knew how much the employees actually make maybe they would stop being such assholes." Halloween or Christmas, by user External Anxiety 14. This just happened, today is Halloween, in Australia, and I head to Big W to find the finishing touches to a cosplay for a pop culture type convention tomorrow. I'm in the Christmas decorations when 2 tall high school lads come up to me asking where the advent calendars are. Me, female wearing a short black velvet dress, a couple of Halloween brooches, pumpkin necklace, striped knee-high socks and eyeball shoes, carrying a navy and red spotted handbag and a pack of hair ties I just picked up. Looking at them blankly, then somewhere around here I guess. Then the boy suddenly realizes and says, "Oh, you don't work here, do you?" I say nope and they both scurried off as I had a little giggle. Not a Karen, just a funny moment.